the word of the Lord came to a man named Jonah. Jonah was a prophet who lived in Israel. The Lord told him to rise and go to the great city of Nineveh. The message was clear. Jonah was to warn the people that their wickedness had come up before God. They were to turn from their ways or face judgment. Jonah did not want to go. He feared the people of Nineveh. He also knew that God was merciful and might forgive them if they repented. Jonah did not want that to happen. Instead of obeying, he went in the opposite direction. He traveled to a port city called Joppa. There he found a ship sailing to Tarshish, a place far from where God had sent him. Jonah paid his fare and went aboard. He believed he could escape the presence of the Lord. Not long after the ship left the harbor, a great storm rose on the sea. The winds grew strong. The waves struck the ship with heavy force. The sailors were afraid. They cried out to their gods and threw cargo into the water to make the ship lighter. Nothing helped. The storm grew worse. While this was happening, Jonah had gone below deck. He was asleep. The captain found him and cried out for him to wake up and call upon his God. The sailors gathered and decided to cast lots to learn who was responsible for the danger. The lot fell on Jonah. The sailors questioned him. They asked who he was, where he came from, and why this disaster had come upon them. Jonah told them he was a Hebrew and that he feared the Lord, the God who made the sea and the dry land. He admitted he was running from the command of God. The sailors grew even more afraid. The storm grew stronger. The sailors asked Jonah what they should do. Jonah told them to throw him into the sea and the storm would stop. The sailors tried to row back to land instead, but the sea became even more violent. At last they prayed to the Lord for mercy, lifted Jonah, and threw him into the water. Immediately the sea became calm. The sailors offered sacrifices and made vows to the Lord. Jonah sank into the deep. The waves closed above him. Yet God had prepared a great fish to swallow him. Jonah was taken into its belly. There he remained for 3 days and 3 nights. In that dark place he prayed. He cried out from his distress. He said that the waters had closed around him and that he had been driven down to the roots of the mountains. He spoke of sinking to the bottom where seaweed wrapped around his head. Yet he also remembered the Lord. He prayed with a repentant heart and gave thanks for God's mercy. The Lord heard Jonah. God commanded the great fish, and it released Jonah onto dry land. Jonah rose again, weary but alive. The word of the Lord came to him a second time. This time Jonah obeyed. He traveled to Nineveh. The city was large. It took several days to walk through it. Jonah entered the city and began to proclaim the message. He warned the people that in 40 days the city would be overthrown unless they turned from their evil ways. The people listened. The message reached their hearts. They believed God. They began to fast and humble themselves. Word reached the king of Nineveh. He rose from his throne, removed his royal clothes, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat in ashes. He sent out a decree calling everyone in the city to turn from violence and cry out to God for mercy. He hoped that God would change his anger and spare the city. God saw their actions. He saw that they had turned from their wicked deeds. He chose to show compassion. He did not bring the destruction he had warned. Jonah saw this and became angry. He felt the people did not deserve mercy. He went outside the city and sat on a hillside. He built a small shelter and waited to see what might happen. The sun grew hot. God caused a plant to grow up beside Jonah. Its broad leaves gave him shade. Jonah was glad for the plant. The next morning God sent a worm that attacked the plant. It withered. When the sun rose again, God sent a harsh wind from the east. The heat beat down on Jonah. He grew faint and wished to die. God asked Jonah whether he had a right to be angry about the plant. Jonah said he did. The Lord spoke to him with patient clarity. He told Jonah that he cared so much about a plant he had not planted or grown. Yet Jonah did not want God to care for the people of Nineveh, a great city filled with thousands of men, women, and children who could still learn what was right. The story ends with the reminder that God's mercy reaches even those we may not expect. It shows how God pursues the lost, corrects the stubborn, and teaches compassion to those who follow him. Please leave a comment and subscribe. It helps us create more amazing contents like this.